What's up, Cinemaniacs? I just got back from watching the movie Minions. Yes, that is the third installment, but actually the prequel to the Despicable Me movies. You had Despicable Me 1 and Despicable Me 2. Then we get the prequel. Where did these Minions start from? And did it turn out okay? Well, let's find out. Minions is, as I said before, is the prequel to the Despicable Me movies. This is before Gru and the search for the Minions boss. And as you get to see in the trailers, you see Kevin, Stuart, and Bob, who are the three leading minions in this movie, and you go on this adventure to seek out a new boss. And as you saw in the trailers, the reason why they are seeking out a new boss is because they inadvertently kill off a lot of their previous employers. Now, if I had some problems with this movie, it would be the Minions himself. I feel like a Minions movie is going to be difficult. There was a chance that it could be good, but I kept on feeling in the back of my mind, with the Minions being the stars, they were going to have to do something about the way they spoke. Make it a little bit more human, maybe. I don't know, create some subtitles. Who knows? But that isn't what the Minion characters are about. So what were they going to do? Were they just going to make a lot of human characters that were involved in this movie? And they did. And some of those human characters were really good, and some of them were not so good. Sandra Bullock, who I found her voice throughout the movie was, I don't know if it was mixed poorly or what, but her voice just seemed a little bit too strong, and it really kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. John Hamm, who played her husband in the movie, Herb, was phenomenal. I loved everything about his character. He was one of the best human characters in this movie. I loved Queen Elizabeth. She was great. And I also loved this family that they ran across when they were traveling to Orlando to go to a certain venue similar to Comic-Con, I guess. I won't get into any spoilers, so don't worry about it. Although this movie there isn't really much that you could spoil, because this is purely for kids. This movie is just a bunch of goofy, yellow, bald characters with goggles and overalls. It's just the way that they did this. It didn't really have much of a plot. It didn't really have much of a story. It was just watching these characters kind of go throughout their time. And it wasn't all that entertaining for the adults. But my son, who I brought with me, really seemed to enjoy it. Now, I will tell you, my son, usually when he leaves the theater, he's usually like, that's my favorite movie of all time. Every single time he sees a good movie. He saw Paddington, he said that. SpongeBob, A Sponge Out of Water, and he said that. Every single movie, Peabody and Sherman, the Lego movie, all his favorite movie when he leaves the theater until he goes back to see another movie. This one he didn't say that about. He said he liked it and he thought it was funny, but I think that's about it. I think that's all you're really gonna get. The problem with having the Minions in there, when they are the secondary characters, like they are in the Despicable Me movies, they're hilarious because you kind of almost feel what they're saying with their body language. In this movie, it's so much, they're doing it so often, you get lost and you need a subtitle, or you need some kind of narrator or something along those lines to kind of explain what they're going through. So it makes it tough. It makes it tough to follow. It makes it tough to watch at times, but there are some really humorous moments, and those usually come with the humans. I will say there are some very funny moments with the Minions, usually pratfalls, kind of that Three Stooges kind of comedy, and I love the Three Stooges, but the big laughs for me came with the other humans. There was this family that they ran across when they were traveling down to Orlando, as I was saying before, and that family was pretty good, but I loved the father. He really cracked me up in the movie. And the interaction, the play off of the Minions with that family was pretty funny. And I wish we had more of that in this movie, and I feel like it could have been such a better movie if we got more of that. But we didn't, so I am going to have to rate the Minions movie a 5.5 out of 10. I'm not going to give it a positive review. I liked both of the Despicable Me movies. The best part of this movie was the ending. I think almost every person that likes the Minions and just likes these movies in general will love the ending. The ending is so well done and so good that it actually brought my review up a couple ticks, because I was thinking about giving this like a 4.5 to 5, and that it brought me up to a 5.5. That was one of the real redeeming factors of this movie. I don't want to feel like a total drag about this movie. It did have its funny moments. Will you enjoy your time in the theater while letting your kid just have some fun? Yes, you will have an okay time. It's not made for adults and for kids. It's not that. It is just strictly made for kids. And that's okay. That's okay. We're so used to these animated movies being made for kids and adults, like the first 2 Despicable Me movies, that it's okay if they get their little goofy, just made for kids movies. I just wish this was more made for DVD release only, because it seemed more of that kind of quality of a movie than the original Despicable movies. But that wouldn't have made enough money for the folks over at Universal. You know, since this one's going to make about, I don't know, $100 million opening weekend. So I can understand why they didn't do it. Hey, what did you think about the Minions movie? Have you seen it? Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. If you haven't seen it, will my review steer you away from it, or will it get you to go out and bring your kids to the theater so they can enjoy the movie themselves while you just kind of sit there and stuff your face with popcorn and candy? If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscriber button, hit that thumbs up button, do whatever you can to help keep this train rolling. We also have a couple of shows on this YouTube channel, so you can feel free to check those out too. Those are more explicit than my reviews, but please check them out if you love movies, because that's all we talk about. I hope you had a good time watching this review, and I will see you at the movies soon.